Hello and welcome to another Mutterings, everybody. I'm Mr. Nobody, the co-host of this channel, and we do this almost weekly depending on the news cycle. And of course, I'm joined by...
Hello, this is Farvithian Guard. If you've been watching this channel, you're about to know who I am by now.
No clue who he is, especially if I'm subscribed to him. So, let's go ahead and jump into these news stories. So let's start with Nintendo's Disney Arc. Or, how they're going to start bilking their fans in new and unusual ways. And we're not talking the weird box thing they were selling, because I still don't get that. We're talking Nintendo selling a sound clock. They're not calling it an alarm clock. It's an alarm clock. And, do you have any idea how much they're selling it for? Let's start with that.
I do, because you pointed it out to me, but why don't you tell the audience?
On their U.S. site, it's $99.99, so it's $100.
For an alarm
clock. At least you're gonna get free shipping on orders over 50.
You'd better for $100 fucking bucks. Jesus.
So $100 as opposed to I went to Amazon, and I found a very similar one called the Little Hippo. And, Little Hippo. It's for kids. It does pretty much most of the things this clock does. It also looks suspiciously similar in certain aspects. And it's listed on Amazon, not an Amazon ad, for $49.99. It usually sells for $64.99, but there's a bunch of other options.
Well, apparently this is like a common thing, just to have these alarm clocks that make sounds.
And that's a pretty big markup just for Nintendo branding, but what does it do? Do you know what it does?
Makes noise, like a fucking alarm clock.
It makes waking up fun with Nintendo.
Look, waking up in the morning, unless you're a morning person, fucking sucks anyway. I don't think your pingy clingy Nintendo noises are going to make that better.
Okay, so you have a number of games you can select from. Mm-hmm. Let's see, I believe it is Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 3, because you really want all of those motion-related noises with Splatoon, Pikmin 4, and Ring Fit?
What?
Okay.
What's that?
It's an exercise. Let's not get distracted. So,
okay, so here's my immediate question. When you say a selection, I have to ask because it's Nintendo. Is this like per clock, or is all this stuff on one clock?
Those 4 selections are on one clock.
Okay, at least there's that, because it would not have surprised me if you have to get a specific clock, a la Pokemon versions, to get specific shit.
But I have a suspicion, and this would be my marketing element that kind of perks up here, that they're going to either sell other versions with exclusive game-related things, or if it sells well enough, they might sell DLC.
And as I recall, you referring to this as the Disney Arc.
Oh, it's a Disney Arc because you're paying it like almost a 50% markup, close to.
Now, for the Nintendo
at least
fans,
a 40% markup.
Okay, it's not even fair to say Nintendo fans. For the Nintendo fanboys who are going to get upset, I sort of apologize, but I'm going to be the guy to point that out. In the 80s and 90s, Nintendo branded and licensed merchandise was out of fucking control. So this is not exactly something new for the company.
Yeah, but the Super Mario or the Mario cereal wasn't a 40% markup like this. This is
I was going to say there was certain things they had that were ridiculously expensive for what they were, but not on this level and not this egregiously, I guess I'll say. Nintendo's a corporation. They're intended and designed to make money, so I'm not really calling them out for selling a product. Just, this product is... I don't know how to classify this. it's nostalgia bait, but it's like worse than usual.
This is obviously something that is very targeted towards a certain demographic of hardcore Nintendo fans. And you can tell because most people are going to go, but I can get cheaper on Amazon. Whereas these people are going to be very into Nintendo, and this is obviously, this is,
It kind of boils down to that meme of "we have alarm clock at home, kids."
yeah, and it's cheaper and I'm the same quality.
Uh,
But I don't know. To me, this is the Virtual Boy of alarm clocks.
wow, Virtual Boy. Holy shit, you
I
went
hope
there.
it's not successful because this is so odious. But I can only see hardcore Nintendo fans jumping in on it because reasons. So let's
I
just
guess because Nintendo branding. I don't know. It
let's
seems
just
sketch.
let's move on to something a little different. So they tell me that in myth and legend, you know what I'm saying? So through the netter, through visions I have been given, and definitely not a number of websites I visited. Did you know that 343 Industries is no longer?
I
It's
am
now
aware of that. And not
Halo
for any.
Studios.
I was about to say 343 is no more for none of the reasons which should be. Which is that
Insert
they're a shit company now that hasn't made a good Halo game in years.
insert Doctor Evil meme.
Yeah.
$1 billion. Anyways,
Let's talk about why this really is and who they put in charge of this mess.
so if you haven't heard, and I'm sure you have, because there are people dedicated to talking about this news.
And if you give a shit about Halo, you probably already knew
Well, let me
this.
finish. 343 343 Industries is rebranding itself to Halo Studios. Now, in fairness to them, and this is the only bit they're getting from me, they did have a massive degree of layoffs, so they're effectively not the same studio anymore anyways, but it's it's like rebranding a car with flat tires to car with tires. So I don't think that's going to help. But the other thing I think that we both can talk about here, and we won't get into naming too many people, and we're not going to demonize anybody. And of course, as always, do not bother any of these
Okay,
people.
I'm gonna say this before you even get started because I know what is being mentioned. We're not demonizing, but we are pointing out facts here before you get those things confused.
I am concerned about the direction of this company. Not simply because 343 has been effectively torching the Halo industry or franchise for a long time,
Which it has.
but I'm concerned that they're bringing in people who are more concerned with activism than the longevity and playability and quality of the product.
I hate to be that guy, but it's a Microsoft adjacent studio, so fucking course they are.
So I'm sorry, Halo fans. I played a lot of Halo back in the day, and
Oh yeah, both of us did.
well, let's ask a really basic question. We can both answer this.
Yeah.
Do you think with the rebrand, with the move to Unreal? Oh yeah, and they're moving to Unreal Engine.
Despite using their own proprietary engine for
The
years,
new
yeah.
leadership, even though we know where some of this new leadership is more interested in, do you think this is going to help in the long run?
No. No, because I have seen this new leadership. I've seen where their interests lie. I've seen where they came from, and any interview or information that is available on them has always focused on diversity and inclusion, female empowerment, women in esports. It's all the same schlock we've heard before with every game company that has gone down this same friggin' road.
I'm concerned with this move actually. One, I always hate to see the aesthetic of and soul of a game get removed when they go to Unreal, because then we're starting to get into the situation of, oh cool, everything's gonna have the same walk cycles and the same texture mapping, and you're gonna lose the image or the aesthetic of how a game looked, and you're going to turn it into it's Unreal, but with insert brand character. It's
There is
Unreal,
that issue.
but with Wheaties.
I
But
mean, it's like a lot of the Capcom games now, they all run on the RE engine.
I'm also concerned that this might mark Microsoft continuing its move towards just being a publisher.
I don't know. And that one I can't really say.
I don't know, because here's the thing. I like the competition. I like when these companies are punching each other's corporate face out.
Well, yeah, usually it incites one or the other to do something more sane or more fucking
It
fun
generally
for people.
benefits everyone when one corporation does something stupid and then gets punked out by another. So I'm kind of concerned because I'll put it like this before we move away from Halo. This feels like Halo going into hospice.
Oof. I mean, that's probably a good way to put it, but yeah.
It is its last-ditch attempt. Unfortunately, the leadership doesn't seem to have any priorities other than, damn it, more activism. So,
yeah.
What do you think?
If I'm being honest, I think Halo was in hospice before these changes. So I think this is just the next phase of it.
Well, this is the more aggressive one since they've moved from 343's hospice to the more aggressive version.
This feels like they're just sending you home, going good luck, phase of it.
Oh, they will you out the door and go, well, we think your family will arrive.
Yeah.
We didn't call them, but, good luck. All right, so let's talk about some happy news, right? Oh, no, we can't. We got to talk about something else depressing. Then we'll have happy news. All right, so you ready?
Go ahead.
You braced in. Yeah, you got there. We got Todd Howard staring at us slightly through the ripping space and time. Maybe you could even call it a shattered space. Anyways, so the Starfield Shattered Space DLC came out. Did you even know it came out?
I did, mostly because I happened to notice Az losing his mind about how shit it was.
You want to know the horrible truth? I didn't even know they were working on DLC for this game.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Az himself admitted that he had no idea until he heard about it from someone else asking if he was going to review it.
Yeah, I didn't know until I was doing some research for this earlier in the week that it had been a thing. I thought somebody was making a joke about the game itself when I figured out it was a DLC. So I looked into it, and I put 2 articles. And they're not friendly articles, so if anyone who hates us can be like, you picked articles that were meanie pants. Sorry.
Well, yes, that was kind of the point, because there are a lot of negative aspects to this expansion.
I picked 2 articles in this to kind of show the shift, I think. And they're both friendly websites to Microsoft. So,
which is sad considering how bad the reviews are. That's got to tell you something.
One from Game Rant and one from MSN. So I don't know how much friendlier you can get in an MSN. Like MSN Plus? Whatever, I'm getting distracted.
I mean, it's a Microsoft subsidiary, so what the fuck do I know?
So we went from September 30 is going to be a huge day for Starfield fans to why Shattered Space's player count. Is Starfield's next DLC in trouble? Just how low is Shattered Space's player count?
Who assumed Starfield was going to have another DLC after this one? That in itself seems ill-advised.
I looked into it. They're kind of required to make it since they promised in their one
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
So they're contractually obligated for another DLC. Oh boy.
All right. So some really basic elements. It's about 4 hours long.
Whoa.
You can get a little bit more out of it through some side stuff.
Should we talk about the price point when we're talking about the time frame?
If you didn't get the oh Lord, it with the bigger edition when you paid for the earlier stuff, it's about $29.99, or you can get the premium edition upgrade for $34.99. Or at least that's
Fun.
what I saw when I looked into it. It's effectively $30 for the. Let's just say you're paying $30 for
I'm
it.
gonna lay that out a little more bluntly. It's $30 for a DLC with really barely any replayability. That's only 4 hours long.
Well, it doesn't do much. It's not very creative.
And apparently, it's still buggy.
It doesn't feel very well crafted, even though it's handcrafted. The AI is still bugged to hell. You have teleporting enemies, which is always a negative. It's always a negative, games. Stop it.
From what I understand, the only thing that's really different is that they stopped the procedural generation shit.
It's handcrafted, but it don't feel like it.
Yeah, but it still feels empty and pointless.
And on top of it, fire the main writer at Bethesda.
Oh my god.
Fire him.
They're never gonna do it. They're never gonna do it because him and Todd Howard are, I don't know, they're fucking or something. I don't know.
It has nothing to do, I don't know what his politics are or anything. I'm saying when someone writes that many
when you failed this many times, when your writing is so bad that even the fans mention it, you need to stop.
Let me put it like this. When you write this many run-on paragraphs of dull, boring, pointless conversation, the fact that it feels like this person has only gotten worse.
Yeah.
The person that wrote all of the dialogue in this expansion should be freaking canned. I'm sorry, I got no personal beef with the person, but when you do this poor of a job in the thing that's supposed to help sell it, and the fact that they're trying to compare it to Far Harbor, that person should be gone.
I'm going to say that personally, I do have a little bit of beef with him and Todd both, because nobody who has fucked up this hard for this long should still have a job. It's pure nepotism. And in that level, I do have a bit of a beef with him.
Well, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's not done well. It's getting what it deserves.
Pretty much.
Here's we'll end this little section with a really basic question. Now, I'll ask you first, and then I'll answer.
Okay.
Do you feel confident with the recent performances of Bethesda in the future of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls?
No, but I'm going to be that guy that I thought the future of Fallout was done when Fallout 76 got released.
That's pretty true. I'm not confident at all. The only thing that I can say that's positive out of this is that as much as a meme as Todd Howard is, I can see why he still has a job. When
really?
I looked at some of his interviews about this, he is far more diplomatic and in approach, let's say, likable in the things interviews he's done about the failures in this, even though he does not answer any questions. Like, he's expertly avoiding them, but he's more congenial than a lot of the other people at Bethesda have been that have come out and talked about it. I could see why he has a job, and that's why he said their lead writer needs to be fired.
Yeah, he is one of their biggest problems next to budgeting, rushed freaking projects, and an engine that desperately needs replaced at this point.
Yeah. Well, let's not even go there. I don't want to go into a damn it, don't go Unreal argument. So let's talk about our feel-good topic of the day. So you're probably sitting there going, oh man, did someone rescue a kitten from a tree? Is the world peace descending upon the world? Is there a Martian that came from space and gave us immortality, a cure to all diseases, and he could teach us to juggle? Well, no. But we have something even better than that. Are you ready for it? The continual failure of Ubisoft.
To be fair, I don't know if that classifies as good news, but it's certainly entertaining news.
Also, who cares about Ubisoft?
Well, they're about to become a 10-cent subsidiary anyway.
So I've heard rumors through the old grapevine from old Crystal Lake. Good old Mr. Voorhees had dropped me a few of these rumor type of things. And, I've heard a bunch of things about this Ubisoft situation, from, the fact that they make poop quality games, the fact that they think they can overcharge people, the fact that they wasted 10 plus years on making a quadruple A game that no one cared about.
It's also a few other facts, like the fact that Tencent is the majority shareholder of their company now.
But I heard a nasty one that there's certain family involved in Ubisoft might have
the Guillermo
considered lowering aggressively the stock price, which, by the way, I've only heard of and have no actual opinion of.
Well, let's look at their recent
decisions.
In legal sense. They decided to push this Yasuke thing after it was leaked by somebody on the inside that they originally had a male Japanese protagonist for Shadows. Yeah. And then on top of it, the guy looks suspiciously similar to George Floyd, and they pushed back the release date to come out on Black History Month. It doesn't look like they're trying to milk the DEI dollars at all at that point.
And they would definitely be not trying to crash the stock price at all.
While pissing off, the entirety of the Japanese gaming market and then mocking them.
Which I would say is very, very illegal in certain countries.
Yeah, just a little.
But hey, that's only what I've heard. I've been told, people have told me that not only do I have the best opinions, but I am also the greatest. But those are their opinions. That's also what I've heard. What I've heard. But here's the greatest question of all. Of all the things we could talk about when it comes to Ubisoft and the stupid decisions, the dumb pricing, the stupid projects they put together, here's the one I'm going to ask you, Farver. You ready? This might resolve all human conflict. So are you prepared to answer this?
Anyone who says that is already full of shit, so just ask it.
All right. So here it comes. This is a very deep question. It might shake you spiritually, so I hope you're prepared.
Will you just get on with it?
Who cares?
Ubisoft fanboys. And their investors might care if it gets much dumber.
I mean, outside of those people.
Nobody. Most gamers have been done with Ubi for a while, and the ones that weren't are already getting there after Star Wars Outlaws turned out to be complete dog shit. Which was supposed to be their new big release. Skull and Bones tanked and ate shit. Most of the shit is overpriced. They're always making horrible, stupid statements like they want to increase the cost of games, both digital and physically, again.
They have been doing that.
And nobody gives a shit because Ubi is a terrible company that doesn't make anything anybody cares about anymore.
I think I'll finish it off with this. I have looked around. And I look at a lot of channels with people who aren't very involved in gaming and don't know much about gaming news, right?
Right.
I think the people who get hurt in all this aren't the people like us who go, this is stupid, better quality. I think it's the people who casually play games. They have a little bit of fun with some of the Ubisoft random worlds. And they don't know anything about the odious practices or the stupidity behind the lines.
So what you're saying is the people come into Ubi how you would at this point, but come into Ubi somewhat fresh-faced and don't know what they're getting in for.
I'm saying it's the casual person who doesn't know anything about what's going on, who just sees a game and goes, oh, that looks like it's fun. They're the ones that get screwed because those are the people that Ubisoft preys upon with their lack of quality, their odious prices, and their stupid business moves. It's not the people who, like us or any of the other people who are informed, it's the people who are just looking to have a good time and see something cool. Those are the people who are getting hurt.
I guess
those are the people I care, but no one cares about Ubisoft.
No, not really, not anymore.
So
just to make fun of them, really.
We'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.
See ya.